Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest, the greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. No channels working harder to keep you in the know when it comes to crypto. It's Around the Blockchain. We come to you Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk about your favorite topics with your favorite guests, and today, no exception. We got an all-star lineup today. We're going to go ahead and start on the top right. Usually she's in the air, but we caught her down on the ground for once. It is Meg. Make sure you follow her at MEGBZK. Then on the bottom right, hanging out in Sin City, hanging out in the desert, even though it's been wet lately, it is Sin City Crypto. Make sure you're following him. Go sub to his channel if you're not already. Then on the bottom left, one of the best traders in the game. Do not try to fade his calls. It is Gareth Soloway. Not on the top left. He's got the guns out. Can he keep the streak alive? It is Ben Armstrong.
1 for 5.
We're going to be talking about Bitcoin cycles. Yeah, we're talking about that halvening, that bear, that bull. When does it start? When does it end? Also, BendDAO going to change some of their rules. So if you did have a loan in there, you don't have to bend over and grab your ankles anymore, hopefully. And also, we have a new exchange, and the people running this exchange might actually be in your pants right now or your pocket. Talk about if you have a Samsung phone. But before we do, let's look at the crypto market, see where things are heading. And it looks like the pain is still there, but not quite as bad as it has been. We have Bitcoin down a little under 2%, Ethereum down a little over 2.5%. But if you look at those weekly losses, that is really telling the tale here. Down 12% on the 7-day, and Ethereum nearly down 20%. But I want to talk to you about these levels for Bitcoin, Gareth. We have a lot of people saying, hey, this is it. This is the beginning. We are going below 17. You got a lot of the bears saying, ha, ha, I told you, but we haven't really confirmed anything. We're still bouncing around in this 21 to 25 range. What are some of the levels you're looking at as far as, support and resistance?
Yeah, so there definitely is a little trouble brewing at this point. It's not full out panic yet, but if we take a look at the chart here, you can clearly see you had this beautiful parallel channel. And last Friday, when the equity markets, when the stock market took a dump, you could see that drop. And then today, again, equity markets down, Bitcoin down just a little bit. So my guess is what we're going to do is we're going to kind of float back up, maybe retest this line. But then I think you roll over and you're headed down to that 2017 high pivot around 19.5 or so. And then that's going to be the stand. Like, that's going to be the telltale. Can Bitcoin hold there? If it doesn't, you're headed to 12 to 13,000 at minimum.
Okay, yeah, that is looking quite scary. And then, yeah, below that, who even knows? But, we're talking about Bitcoin going down, and traditionally, you see the cycle. We've talked about it on this channel a lot, the 4-year Bitcoin cycle, rough enough. And we are getting close to some key levels. And I wanted to show this screen real quick. In 2015, Bitcoin bottomed 547 days before the halving. 2018, Bitcoin bottomed 517 days before the halving. And if we get the average right there, or that little limit, 517 to 547, that is going to occur in Q4 this year. Really not that long from now. If you want to say October, November, December, we're very, very close here. Barely 5 weeks away. And then we're going to be in Q4. Ben Armstrong, these are some of the levels or some of the periods that you have been saying, a lot of it doing with the we have the election coming up in November, smack dab in the middle of Q4. What can we expect for this later 5 weeks of Q3 and going into Q4? Are you expecting a lot of pain? When are some of these bounces and drops occurring in your best guesstimate here?
Yeah, well, generally what we see is a little bit of a relief as we get towards the midterm elections. After the midterm elections, because there will be change, you see the markets react to that, and the price drops and bottoms. That's what we've seen the last 2 midterm election cycles with Bitcoin. So, obviously, it's almost like what we just read. I've been telling you now for like 3 months or 4 months, right? This is our exact target. Our exact target is, now look, we have an exact date, but you got to understand, I don't really mean it's going to happen on this date. Give or take a week or 2 on either side. November 28th is the day that we've calculated we should generally see it. If you go back to the bull run, we said the overall top of the market would be between Halloween and Thanksgiving. We nailed it exactly. We didn't nail the price. We didn't have an altcoin season, but that was the top of the market. So there is something to these 4-year cycles, and you're able to track the calendar and see exactly when these things should occur. And look, We're so close. This is the message I really want people to get. The prices are going to get worse, but we are close to the end. We're close to the bottom. And that should give a lot of people like a lot of hope. That's what we're going to see. I do think Gareth is right. I think we're seeing, $10,000 to $14,000. Now, I do think there's also a possibility that maybe we hit 15 and bounce back up. And the reason for that would be you got to bake in where you think it's going to go. So everybody's been saying 10 to 14. Everybody's been saying, all the OGs who've been through this before, 10 to 14. So because of that, maybe it goes to 14.2 or 14.5 and bounces up, because it generally doesn't tend to go exactly where everybody thinks it's going to go. It can also go the other way. It could go down to 9,000. Some people think even lower. But I would stack my buy orders above and below that range, because we don't usually see it come and hit that range exactly. Here's a good, for instance. The estimate in 2018 for where the bottom would be was $3,000. It got down to 3,200. It never hit 3,000. It got at 3,200 and it bounced back up. I definitely think this all lines exactly with what we're seeing, with what we've been talking about. People can shoot us all they want for the numbers. We didn't hit the numbers we thought, but we've been dead on the time frames when it comes to the price of Bitcoin and the overall tops of the market. Never didn't think we won't hit the bottom as well.
All right, good advice there. Give a little breathing room. I would definitely suggest the same. With price or time, you want to go up or down 5-10%. If everybody says something's going to happen on a Wednesday, well, it's probably going to happen on a Tuesday or Thursday. Everybody says it's going up 10%. It's probably going to go up 5% or 15%. So you always want to have a little bit of breathing room there. Meg, we're talking about the cycle, but you've been traveling all over the globe lately. We see you have your little NFT. You get to jump on all the planes. I think you're next to Richard Branson or something. But so you're traveling globally. You're getting a better idea of the macroeconomic news. What do you think is going to be the biggest driver of Bitcoin's price over the next 2 years? Is it going to be this halving cycle that we just kind of live, eat, breathe, and die by? Or is it going to be some maybe macroeconomic events us here in America maybe we're not privy to, or reading the tea leaves correctly here?
So again, not having been through a full market cycle yet and this full 4-year cycle, I have to really look at what the vets are saying in the space and really trust that as well. And I do think that the stats are there and they do show how the price has gone. So I'm really just being very cautious and dollar cost averaging. I have my strategy laid out. I do think that these things that happen around the world will have an impact, but again, we can't control those things. They're out of our control. So we just have to, trust in what we do know and go with that. So I just caution everybody, if you're new to the space, get to know about the 4-year cycle, learn about it, just so that you can be aware and make decisions that you feel are best for you.
All right. Now, Sin City, on that note, we have more and more people learning about the 4-year cycle, finally understanding it, finally understanding the halving, looking at the dates, looking at historical data. I remember hearing a little bit about it in 2017, very, very little to be in fact. Then around the May pump or April pump last year, you heard a little bit more about it. Now we're here, so we just steadily get more and more educated on what the halving cycle is. Do you think that will counteract the efficacy of the halving cycle, or more people aware of it so it loses its power? Or do you think, no, it's still king, supply and demand economics can't really change it?
Yeah, what you said there is the big exclamation point: supply and demand. When you have a halving of the Bitcoin mined, it's a straight supply shock. Exchanges are getting less tokens on, and so the cycle is here to stay. Now, it's going to become less and less prevalent every cycle that passes. And we've seen that over the last cycles. And the article that you discussed, I mean, we went from a shorter cycle to a shorter cycle with a less blow off, with less higher highs and, not quite as drastic of a fall each cycle. So this, in my opinion, is going to play out exactly in that manner next time. But at some point, it will deviate away. Now, I was in the camp that we could be breaking the cycle, but right now there's way too many indicators saying that this is still going to play out. I mean, we are entering into a recession. We are going deeper into a recession, and the economic landscape here in front of us is pretty uncertain. And so with these uncertain times, there's less money going into tech stocks and into more risk-on assets. And so you're seeing less money, especially from legacy investors that are piling into crypto. And the retail investors kind of exited. You're not hearing the big buzz that you were once before with the meme coins that you did once before. And then on top of that, you do have the midterm elections. And now when there is a shift in Congress from one party to another, especially when the president's party and Congress is different, the markets calm down. So the election is set to take place on November 8th. And so that happens to coincide perfectly with this model where you're going to see the cycle bottom in Q4 being November. So I do think that going up into November 8th, we're going to see probably the bottom there would be my estimate. And then afterwards, because the presidential candidate and the House and the Congress, because they're different parties, it's harder to pass any legislation. So there's no like big shakeups, at least here in the United States Congress. But on the global scene is a little different. But we know that what happens here in the U.S. government usually indicates what's going to happen on the global side. So.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments what you think the bottom is going to be, or if you think 17 was the bottom, hit that like button right now, smash it. Doesn't cost anything, but if you think we have another leg to go, let us know right now. We'll be checking them out.
7,000. 7,000.
Woo, 7,000. That's low. I'll be scooping some up. All right, let's talk about BendDAO and their vote. This is a NFT loan collateralization service where you can basically give them your monkey JPEG, and then they will loan you money. This is the floor price of Bored Ape Yacht Club. I wanted to bring this up. This is just the last 30 days, and you can see the selling pressure of the past week or so since this liquidity crisis. Average cost 87 ETH, 82 ETH, 150 ETH. Then you can see the slight downtick: 86, 73, 76, 72, and now for the first time in a long time in the 60s there, 67 ETH. And they want to change some of their parameters for lending out. You give them your monkey JPEG. They give you ETH relative to how much it is worth, say roughly 40%. Then if your price goes too low, it will liquidate your loan. And you have 48 hours, essentially, to pay it off. They said they had some comments about it. They saw how effective or not effective the bear market can be for NFTs. This is from their co-founder. We are sorry that we underestimated how illiquid NFTs could be in a bear market when setting the initial parameters. So now they have a couple changes coming into place. Gareth, I know you love that these JPEGs are worth millions of dollars. You totally get it. But I'm looking at some of their numbers. They were 150 ETH. ETH was more expensive then, too. Now they're all the way down to 67 ETH. Is this just healthy consolidation, or is this that floor starting to just crash below us, and could we even see maybe single-digit ETH?
Yeah, so I think this is exactly what has to happen, and Ben's right that before the market fully bottoms, you have to see that washout. So not only in cryptocurrencies, a lot of the altcoins have to wash out, but you have to see this kind of NFT washout to the point where we are, especially with NFTs being even like kind of newer than crypto and Bitcoin, that has to flush out, just like in 2017 or 18, I should say. Bitcoin flushed out to the point where people kind of gave up on it. I mean, there was this real sense in 2018 that, why even talk about it? Don't even look at it. It's not even going to be relevant. And then that was where the bottom is. And I almost feel like in the NFT world, that has to come to that point where you see this washout. Then that's where smart money, like that's where you want to be waiting. When you hear everyone else, Twitter, the stratospheres, everyone talking negatively, oh, these things are all done, that's when you scoop them up at pennies on the dollar. And I think you'll make a fortune on them at that point.
Okay. And Ben, I want to talk to you about, these prices, how catastrophically they are moving in violent directions here. Now, you know that we filmed something secret, me and Justin, having to do with Pluto Alliance. We can't say anything, but we can say...
Was that the only thing you filmed that was secret with Justin?
No? There's, what happened in the hotel, and the security footage, but that's a whole nother story. Okay. But we can say it was with a shark, someone from Shark Tank, a show involving Pluto Alliance. We're not going to say what. But that was the absolute bottom of Bitcoin. We actually went there when it hit 17. Yeah. And you know what? He or she, almost gave something away there. They were saying, we are invested in NFTs, and now we're actually really considering buying them. I actually think they went and bought Punks at the absolute bottom. They got Punks at 50K. Wow. And then, you know what happened? Punks jumped up 40% in the matter of weeks. Now, we've seen the crash. We've seen how bad it is. What do you think that next run-up is going to be like with that next bull market? Will the ascent equal the descent when it comes to speed? Are we going to have face melting gains, or was that last year and it's just kind of maybe done for?
Well, I mean, every bull market we have the face melting gains. The problem is, can you recognize their face melting gains while they're happening? You know what I mean? Because, we certainly thought, and people on the internet are so stupid. They really are. Like, it just drives me insane. Somebody out there, you said it was going to 300,000. Yeah, we were way ahead of the curve, low IQ, sir, ma'am. Way ahead of the curve. If you look at the previous bull markets, we were drastically ahead of the pace to where we would get to. No number is ridiculous with Bitcoin. Have you seen it? Have you seen the charts? No number is ridiculous. $1 million is not out of the question for the next cycle. Do I think it'll hit that? No, I don't think it'll hit that. I think 10 to 15 years it will hit that. But is it out of the question? Is it absolutely impossible that Bitcoin could get to $1 million? No. We've seen it have 38% or 38x gains in one cycle before. Now it's when the market cap was lower. So as it gets higher up, for someone to sit here and say that, oh, it absolutely can't get to this price, we don't know that. We don't know how hard it is to move this as there's more excitement and more institutions coming into the market. And last market cycle was really not a great indicator of what this should look like, because Elon Musk single-handedly, this are all you Tesla lovers. I said I went to I was in the drive-through at Zaxby's over here. I was getting my daughter some food one night after she went and did some personal training and stuff. And I sat there and I looked over. There's a row of Tesla chargers in the Publix parking lot right there. And I saw several guys just sitting there charging their Teslas, sitting up, So I tweeted about that. I think these Tesla charging stations could put Grindr out of business. I had a good tweet about that. But the point here is, I don't understand how people worship the ground this guy walks on. Still, after all this, after the fake attempt to buy Twitter, after dumping the market, after selling his Bitcoin, if you're in crypto, how in the world do you support this guy? He's not doing anything actually positive. It's all smoke and mirrors. This guy tanked the market. He knew what he was doing. Look at what happened last week. Last week, some mysterious buyer came in and bought, I think it was 400 million, or I don't know what the number was. Maybe it wasn't 400 million, but a lot of money in Manchester United that's, I think, a publicly traded company. And then the next day, Elon Musk comes out and says he's considering buying it. Guys, this guy is a criminal. He is a fraud, and he was a market manipulator. So what we saw is in April, in May, he tweeted, oh, you know what? All this research I've done into Bitcoin, I didn't realize maybe it was bad for the environment. We think we're going to stop taking it. Then what happened? The air got sucked out of the room. If that does not happen, now the question is he working with people? Was that coordinated by institutions? Certainly possible. Certainly possible he works with those. He's not the maverick that people think that he is, by his stretch of the imagination. I hope this Twitter thing has really exposed that. But the idea is, if we wouldn't have had that happen, where the air got sucked out of the room, the sentiment came out. The other thing that I would also add to this is the money that should have been going into altcoins, they all went into meme coins. Now, what happened to those meme coins? So many of them were rug pulls. That money just gets deleted from the space, basically, because those project leaders take the money and run, and it doesn't come back into crypto, because that's the whole point. So how much market cap got sucked out of the market that will just never come into it again? That's a great question as well. And I think those two things combined is what led us to not get the much, much higher returns that we were expecting. But for people to try to kill people over saying it was going $200,000, $400,000, we were ahead of the curve for it. So if these things don't happen, we could have got there. There were plenty of predictions by institutions. If you look at comparing the results of each previous bear market or bull market, there are reasons to think that. Now, projecting this into the next market, the next bull market, the question is, at what point does the market swell to the point where, one person, even a very powerful person, a rich person like Elon Musk, can't dump the market? That's what we have to see. Because if he can do that, he'll do it again. He'll do it again. I don't know if you guys understand this. He's 100% about power and attention. He knows that he did in the last market. He'll try to do it in the next market if he's not stopped.
Yeah, that $1 trillion market cap is quite easily moved. That's people don't really understand that.
$40 billion fake dollars himself.
2 years ago, it was very, very easy to move. I mean, I would watch some of my favorite streamers, favorite traders. They would make a phone call, get some whales to buy barely any, and then you see the candles just
$1 million. You could move the market like with $1 million. You could move the market a tremendous amount if you use it on leverage.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, speaking of moving, Meg, you're moving all around in these airplanes. I'm just going to try to segue to that every single time. I don't know why, but that is an NFT project. I keep bringing it up, but I actually wanted to ask you, are there any, during this bear market, this NFT bear market, are there any prices for some blue chips that you might that you find attractive? Is there a price for a Bored Ape? I actually did pull up. This is the world's cheapest Bored Ape. It's coming in at $107,000. But we do have mutants, roughly around 20. There's the Kennels. They're around 10. So there are cheaper options, and there are other blue chips, of course. What are some of the ones you're looking at that you say, you know what, if it gets cheap enough, maybe we'll have to jump in?
So for NFTs, there's a lot of, blue chip projects that I think there's a huge opportunity for. However, we could see even lower prices yet, especially with this BendDAO stuff. I mean, if stuff gets liquidated and those NFTs start getting listed, that could really cause a spiral effect, which won't be a good thing for NFTs in my opinion. But again, even the ones that are listed on that website, there could be some better prices that pop up. But for myself, I'd look at, anything with Yuga Labs, obviously, just because they have so much going for them. MEGBKZ is one that I had posted about yesterday. I look for strong communities, even older projects such as like Robotos or NFTs that are really building right now and have partnerships that I do see succeeding. So I think we're going to see a lot of new ones continue to pop up, but I don't know if that's the best route to go for NFTs and for adding to your NFT portfolio at this time. I keep an eye on those projects that have been building. DGenTunes, again, it's another project I talk highly of just because I like the community, not sponsored whatsoever, but just keep your eye open for those opportunities because I do believe that they're going to continue to pop up. And I don't think NFTs are going anywhere. So we're going to see a lot of utility NFTs and new ones. And yeah, I'm here for NFTs long term. So
I think those two good MEGBKZ, DGenTunes, good choices. I haven't had a MEGBKZ. I was in DGen, sold the top. Maybe I'll try to jump back in. It is a little bit cheaper.
Good though. Take your profits.
Yeah. Sell into the airdrop hype. All right, Sin City, final question on this topic. Do you think that this space could eventually thrive? This BendDAO seems like it's on the brink of collapsing. They have very little wrapped ETH in liquidity. I think they're down about 95% in their liquidity. Everybody's pulling their wrapped ETH. Kind of has a bad taste in everyone's mouth right now, but will this space evolve with this lending out your NFTs and making collateralized loans off of that? Will that evolve? And do you see this being a major part of NFTs in the future, just like DeFi is with ETH?
I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one here that's deeply concerned with this whole situation. I mean, if you think about it, you have a NFT platform that's lending out money with collateral NFTs, which for one are extremely volatile. It's a brand new space. We don't know how low these Bored Apes are going to go, or the blue chips. I mean, we could see substantial losses from where we're at right now. And then this DAO, 98% of the DAO voted in favor of lowering the liquidation threshold target. It's going to go as far down as 70% of the value of the NFT. Now, my question is when this drops again, which the price of, well, I don't say but I'm assuming the price of Bored Apes are probably going to drop lower, especially if we're going to go deeper into a bear market. We're going to see Bitcoin in the teens. I mean, you would expect that the NFTs are also going to follow, if not be more dramatic or more volatile. And if that's the case, what's going to happen to this platform when they lower the threshold again to 50% or 40%? Because if 98% of the people voted for this, you only need a majority vote. And so then you're sitting in a situation where the lending platform is holding people's NFTs. They're probably going to go insolvent because they've lent out a lot of money. People are defaulting. They're going to try to, and they've been auctioning off their NFTs that been liquidated already. And then if they're going to sell it for way less than the loan, they're going to go under. And what's going to happen to the people that are paying their loans out like they're supposed to? Like, just say I'm leveraging my NFT, say I'm leveraging my Bored Ape, and I'm doing everything by the book, just like we've seen with the other CentralFi platforms. If I'm doing everything by the book, and everybody else is being negligent and defaulting, the company that's lending it out is probably going to go under. And what are they going to do with my NFT? They're probably going to take it. All of a sudden, it's going to be transactions halted and bye-bye. And so I think we are seeing, this is so many parallels to what we just saw a couple months ago. And this is a new space. I would proceed with major caution. And you're taking all kinds of risk by basically letting somebody else custody your NFT. So your best bet, if you're a big fan of the NFT, just hold it. Otherwise, this is tons of red flags for me.
Okay, and just for full disclosure, Franklin is bored. I think he was able to use this successfully, borrowed over $10 million and flipped his way up to 60 plus apes. So shout out to Franklin, because yeah, I would agree. I think 99% of the people, it's going to be used poorly, but then you're going to have those savants, and they'll be able to navigate this, and everyone else is essentially their exit liquidity on some level. But all right, let's
for everybody's gains, for everybody, like crushing the market with the NFT, like borrowing, somebody's losing money on the back end. So I mean, it can only go so high for so long before that falls under, and just a lot of red flags.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little Samsung Exchange. They want to get into crypto exchanges here. This is there's a few South Korean companies all filing, and one of them is Mirai. I think I'm saying that right. There's a few names. I don't want to bastardize the pronunciation there, but Samsung is the biggest of these players filing the paperwork to try to have a crypto exchange. And we were covering who's investing in blockchain. Samsung was one of the top 10, 20 companies up there, right below Google, right below Meta, with the big players investing billions of dollars, and 13 investments just from September to June. That's totaling $1 billion. So just in that short period there, we're looking at roughly 9 months. They invested $1 billion just in the last 9 months there. So Soloway, we have more and more corporations trying to get into crypto exchanges. I guess they see it as free money. Hey, these people trading 24/7. We make money if it goes up. We make money if it goes down. Now, do you think Samsung is able to learn from the mistakes of some of these previous companies, or are they just going to be so big and it's just going to be the same red tape that all the large companies would have?
Yeah, so I do think that it's all about the money, right? It's the way to kind of have no risk is just to be the exchange and be taking in fees from all of these different investors that are buying and selling. And you're right, if it goes down and people panic and sell, they're still paying the fees and vice versa. So I think that for the most part, they probably have seen some of the issues and they probably can correct those. But I would just go back to the fact that just seeing this alone makes me feel like you haven't seen a bottom yet in the crypto markets. Now, even though they're not directly buying any cryptos or anything like that, it's just one more signal to me that you don't have the fear that's needed for a market bottom in cryptocurrency. And I know we were talking about cycles before, and I'd even say it to me. I look at Bitcoin and I say, I wouldn't be surprised. My 13,000 target, if it's going to break that, it's probably going down sub 5,000, even to 3,500. If it's going to mirror the .com collapse. And again, I'm referring back to Amazon and what it collapsed back in the .coms before it finally recovered, and then obviously had a monumental move to it. And I'd even say this in terms of, we were talking about cycles, and sorry to get a little bit off track, but it's important, is that you look at the 4-year cycle, and the one thing that makes me nervous and worried that the cycle could be a longer cycle here, that this bear market could last longer, is that this is the first cycle that has occurred during a tightening, excessive tightening phase without monetary printing of money. And that makes me worried that there's not going to be that normal liquidity. Like if you look at 2018, there was QE going on, quantitative easing. If you look at back to 2014 and the after the 2013 top, same thing. There was money printing going on. And so I am concerned that this cycle, it probably will be 4 years, but it likely, or there's at least a chance that it could be a longer cycle. And I think investors have to leave themselves room to dollar cost average. So I'm all about getting in sub 20, a small position. But just remember, folks, is that things always go lower than you ever think it could go. And just like it goes higher than you think it could go, usually on the other side. And just to be careful, dollar cost averaging is always the best place to be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The quantitative easing is coming back though. The quantitative easing is coming back. Like by the time
I agree with you on that, Ben. I do.
Yeah, by the time the halving comes in 2024, it'll be back. So
Ben, I got a nice thinker for you here though. This is thinking outside the box. I want to ask you, who do you consider more of Samsung's competitor in the space? I'm looking at some of the people they invested in: Animoca Brands, Yuga Labs, Sky Mavis. So who would you consider more of a competitor of Samsung? Would it be Yuga Labs, Animoca Brands, or would it be Solana, Near Protocol? What do you think is more like their competitor here?
Cardano. There you go. There it is.
Is that for the clickbait? Are we going to change the thumbnail now?
Yeah, let's change the thumbnail to greatest Cardano video of all time. Zero criticism of ADA.
Cardano killer. No, we do Cardano killer.
I mean, look.
Wait, can we do that?
I mean, Cardano says, listen to BJ. He's a Cardano maxi, if you didn't know. It's fine. I like Cardano maxis. They're nice. Look, here's the thing. The thing is, that's what Charles has always said, is that his competitors are not Ethereum. And we always want to ask him the questions, because obviously Polkadot is led by Gavin Wood. And then, of course, we have Vitalik behind Ethereum. And we know Charles has beef with both of them. They all have beef with each other or whatever. So it's like they should be like competitors. But it's almost like Charles is more like, he takes the high road here. He's like, oh, those aren't my competitors. I don't care about my beef with them. It's okay. His competitors are Google, Samsung, Apple. These are the companies that he wants to target to be able to build dApps on top of Cardano that are as robust and useful as apps that are on those other networks. So I think I definitely don't think it's Solana. Like, you gotta be kidding me on that. Like, Solana is a joke, guys. I don't know if you know that. Solana is it's going to go up in price. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. It is a VC money printing machine. That is what Solana is. When you look at, just people can't connect the dots. All of a sudden, these institutions start going in on Solana in the last bull run. And then we look up and all of a sudden the price starts dropping. And all of these funds that were invested in Solana, now all of a sudden, hey, we've got a $300 million, grant we're going to give, or we're going to have this crypto fund for $500 million. Where do you think they got the money from? They're just printing money off of Solana. And then everybody got stuck holding the bag. Solana, one of the only projects that kind of got to actually heights that we thought it would get to during the bull run. Binance Coin, another one. It exceeded the expectations, and those were really kind of the top of the market when those topped out. So I think that when it comes to a true competitor of Samsung, I definitely don't think it's Solana. Now, Animoca Brands is interesting. I could kind of see them being the Samsung of blockchain gaming in a sense, Web3 in a sense. I know with some stuff we're involved with. We think we're creating maybe the Amazon, or working with creating the Amazon of Web3. Some interesting stuff. But the long and the short of it is, I would say Cardano over everything else.
Okay, so but to that point, coins are more likely their competitor versus some of these investment groups. Okay, I would agree with that. All right, we're gonna do a couple quick hits. We're running a little late on time, so Meg, Sin City, I'm gonna ask you the same question. I'm gonna ask you why. Meg, we'll start with you. Now, will we be trading on the Samsung exchange 2 years from now? Yay or nay? Why or why not?
I don't believe so. I don't think they're that far along yet with getting that all into the swing of things, and that does take time. I think that we've got other platforms even now that we are already using, so it's going to take some time. I don't believe that we'll be there with Samsung yet. All
right, Sin City, are we going to be traded on Samsung exchange? Yay or nay?
Hell yeah. Man, Samsung, a $275 billion market value company. They're based in South Korea. Everything South Korea does is gold right now. And then they already got a blockchain wallet. They're deep into crypto and blockchain. And from 2021 to now, Samsung has invested in 13 different investment rounds in VC, which is more than Google and BlackRock has done. We use the wallets already. We use our phones for everything already. Nobody uses social media on the desktop anymore. You go to your phone. Nobody's going to use their finance on their desktop and checkbooks. They're going to do it on their phone. What better way to do it than with blockchain technology? Just tap payment on everything, straight connected to the wallet, send people NFTs, send people money. That's right.
All right. And now then you can say, man, this coin is on fire. You're like literally talking about your Samsung phone. All right, now that is all we got time for, and it looks like Sin City narrowly edged out. Been there, ending the streak. I'm sorry. Sin City, he was here. He gave me $20 when he was here last week. So Sin City, feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts.
All right. Well, thanks so much for hosting us, guys. It's always a pleasure. And then make sure you guys subscribe to Everybody's Here. Yeah, come check out our live show Monday through Friday. We have we're interviewing one of the top players for Near Protocol. So if you're a fan of Near, come check us out.
All right. Maybe you'll ask him, is Near, hey, is Samsung your competitor? All right. Until next time, BitSquad. DEEZY out.